Hello dear ones, I've got my Christmas red on today, as you can see. I've had this dress 3 years, this is the first time I've worn it, and I'm a bit distressed to find I think I've shrunk 2 inches. That's probably getting older, isn't it? Anyway, I thought I'd dig it out today, ready for the season. I'm not sure what everyone's doing, but I do get a bit fed up with all this stuff on television, friends and family, and table groaning with food. I should probably be on my own again, but I'm quite okay with it, to be honest. I've known them for many years, so I'm probably used to it, and I don't really mind. Do what you like, eat what you like. I'm just today going to talk about a bit about miracles and angels because I suppose at my time of life I've had quite a few very beautiful experiences of both, and I think we are in a time of miracles, aren't we? So let's just find a couple of little stories to tell you. Initially, really, though, I think I have to say that everything I do say is from personal experience, and because of my strange lifetime, I've really had a lot of poverty, and so I suppose when you haven't got anything, to have something is quite remarkable. I mean, it's like there are so many people without food, and I suppose if they were to have a really gorgeous dinner, they probably wouldn't know what to do with it. But in my early days, I was born during the Second World War, which was a very difficult time for anyone to be born because we just didn't have anything. You know, the ships weren't coming in with supplies, and we didn't have toys or clothes. And my dad went out in Bristol at the time, and he searched and searched and searched for a teddy bear for me, which I've just actually got rid of. He was a little bit moth-eaten. So I've always been without anything, and even when I was married, I didn't have a lot of money. I always had to go to work, so it's been a difficult time and challenges of changing poverty consciousness, and that's very hard when you've been brought up in that kind of atmosphere, and actually being born, you know, at that time when people were dying all around you and you didn't have anything. So that's the background, really, where I have all my beautiful stories and miracles, and well, they are miracles because I've been helped out. I've always had a home and clothes to wear and food to eat, and I suppose that's all we should be grateful for, really. So I suppose this is not just angels and miracles, but gratitude. You know, because there was a time 5 years ago when I was actually almost homeless, and I do know how that feels. It's a terrifying experience. You've got all your stuff around you, and you're sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? Run out of money, no one to help me, so I just had to sort of hope that I would be found somewhere. And I was fortunate enough to find that the social services got for me this lovely bungalow, which I'm being helped out with. It's near the trees, and it's a little, well, it's a miracle. I didn't have to even look for it, it was presented to me. So when these sort of things happen, it makes you realise, and I think people that do have everything don't have that opportunity of appreciating what we can have and what is given us when we're desperate. I think because through fear people are, everything's about money. I mean, and it's taught me, although it's very hard to understand that these days of manifestation, we're supposed to manifest whatever we want. I can seem to do that, but I don't seem to be able to manifest the money to pay for it. So I often get into debt, and overdrafts have been quite my challenge, I think, in this lifetime. It's definitely been about money and how to manage it, and how to not be afraid of not having it, because I often haven't. And every month my pension comes, and I think, gosh, saved by the bell. You know, recently the bank have changed my account. I've got one direct debit account and one spending account, and I've got to somehow keep them in balance. And every day I sit here and work out. So I was out of money a couple of weeks ago. It was a pretty desperate situation, and I've had a huge bill. My MOT for my car was £300, and I just got myself a credit card, so I was able to pay for it, but I've got to pay it back, of course. So I just was really thinking, what on earth am I going to do? And it was down to the last penny. And then it was a miracle. A letter came from the electricity company saying I had a £50 refund. And £50 to some people, they'd pay that on a bottle of wine or on a meal out or whatever. To me, that was a lifesaver. That was a food bill for that week, and all was well for a little while, you know. So I'm now sort of waiting for my next week's pension to come in. I want to get a Christmas tree. Whether I can or not, I don't know. Anyway, so that's where I'm coming from, and I do think I've worked out that for me personally, the poverty state has done me good. I think probably in a past life I've been rather a spendthrift, rather extravagant, and I've had to learn how to manage and how to value things. That's the thing, to value what we have. I mean, people have such decadent lifestyles that I think one more present, they wouldn't probably even notice it. To me, I don't have Christmas presents. Well, I have one from my daughter, and so when it comes, I'm very grateful. So you do without things, it makes you realise when something does happen how grateful you are, and how we really are always rescued. I mean, to be given a home, and it's kind of given me really, I mean, I don't have fun. Not on £50 a week. No, I don't. I get more than that, but it's a question of there are other things. There's eating and heating, and to survive. I'm just surviving really. So I'm hoping in times to come, when my books get published, and I meet a nice rich man, you never know, then I will be able to sort of move forward. Anyway, that's the first little miracle that set me off thinking, what am I going to talk about? But I want to talk about two very powerful angelic interventions, which would be very hard to believe actually, and I have had a great deal of help from angels, whether I've asked for it or not. They've come to my aid, and I'm always amazed at how they rescue from the smallest little flower or an animal or something just comes into my life to bring me through the darkest moments. It's usually animals actually, or plants or trees, but I have had other things, and one in particular I would like to tell you about is when I was in Lincoln. There's a place called Steep Hill, and it is very, very steep, and there's a very wide space at the top with there are shops either side, and I was totally and utterly on my own, sitting there, standing there, what am I doing here? And suddenly a car that had been parked on the right hand side of the road started coming towards me. It sounds ridiculous now, but I just stood there and I put my hand out. So I was going to stop it, and I just had to do that. And suddenly there were these two beings standing beside me. Angels often come in disguises. They don't come looking like angels. You wouldn't know them. They come usually dressed very ordinary, but sometimes they are a little bizarre, unusual. But that man and a woman came and stood beside me. I can't really remember what happened next, because it was a miracle. And the man got out his mobile phone, and within minutes somebody came and rescued the whole thing. We were all three of us standing there holding the car. Had it gone careering down the hill into the shopping centre, goodness knows what would have happened. So I often think about that, but how did they know? It was instant. I mean, the minute I just put my hands in front of the car, they were there. The man came, and I don't know what he did. I think the handbrake had failed, obviously, but that was something quite amazing. And I often think of that they seem to know before things happen. Well, of course, it's time and spirit. I just want to tell one other story before I go. I'm getting carried away now. And this is my manifestation story. Can you see a picture of Jupiter in the background? Isn't he lovely? I painted that. Acrylic paints. And that Jupiter's just gone into Capricorn, so we're going to get a lot of help with our work and our ambitions and so forth. Anyway, this quick story is manifestation some years ago, and I wanted to go to a local theatre to see a play, and I rang and they hadn't got any tickets left, and I thought, I am going to go. I have to go to this play. I want to go, and I'm going to go. And I can't describe it. It was like a force, like a willpower, I suppose, that I was so determined to get to this play, and so sure that I would get to it. I set off in my very best dress, got to the theatre, and as soon as I was in the foyer, about half an hour before it started, someone came running in. I've got 2 tickets to sell. Would somebody like them? Actually, I think it was given me, I'm not sure. And so I got into the theatre and I sat next to this lovely man. He was a delight. I mean, it was like dream fulfilled in the space of half an hour. And it was a wonderful play, wonderful companionship. He stayed with me all through the interval. And his wife came up to him, and he was apparently a local manager. And she said, "Why don't you two have a party?" she said, because we were having such a good time. So I can manifest. I can manifest probably most things, actually, a pair of shoes or whatever. But of course, I have to pay for it. I haven't yet mastered the art of manifestation. So I think that's my next challenge. Okay, I think I've still got lots more stories, but not time. I hope you've enjoyed that anyway. I hope Janice is well. I've not heard from her for a while. And love to you all, really. So this Christmas time, just appreciate whatever you have and be grateful. Very, very grateful. So God bless for now. Take care. Bye-bye.